Today, we're going to discuss the signs that your twin flame is thinking about you. And I think you're going to find the signs that I'm going to tell you in this video a little different, maybe from the other signs videos that you've heard before. And bonus topic, I'm going to tell you why these are the signs in a science-based way. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Kurt. I'm the world's #1 twin flame coach. I've personally coached over 7,000 twin flame students to date. My science-based approach to this phenomenon, it's going to make you feel a little bit more sane today, my friends. I know what you're going through out there, and it's rough out there, guys. I went through the whole shit with the running and chasing and the obsessive thinking and the acting desperate, and it's the most desperate situation that you've ever been in your whole life, and you can't stop thinking about this person, and you also have this strange sense that your life is about to change in ways that you can't explain. And then all of this is followed by some pretty incredible metaphysical experiences like Kundalini surging through your body, heart activation, psychic gifts exploding. It's incredible, you guys. This is real. You've been told a lie your whole life. You've been told that there's no God, you don't have a soul, which is technically true because you are a soul. You've been told nobody knows what happens to you when you die. You're just a bag of bones. Go back to your job, punch a clock, pay your taxes, and go to sleep. Yeah, well, get ready for your life to change. Guys, your twin flame is your soul. Everybody says it. Everybody says it. Everybody on the internet says that twin flames are one soul in two bodies, and that is absolutely true. You guys, reincarnation is a widely accepted phenomenon. Everybody already knows about this stuff. Everybody, well, not everybody agrees, I guess, right? But all of you watching, I think you're here because you already know about this, and you know that it's real. And there certainly have been a lot of case studies about reincarnation. Well, guess what? Your twin flame is just another incarnation of your soul. And what I'm about to share with you here, I'm doing a little bit of setup, and then we're going to get to the signs. Because like I said, bonus talking point, I'm going to show you how you can tell these are the real signs. And then on top of that, the other cool thing that I like to do on this channel is clue you in on what you can do about all this stuff, right? It's like you might be in a state of hopelessness thinking there's nothing I can do about this. Maybe it's just up to some divine whim and it's preordained and I just want to know if I'm destined to be with my twin flame. And what I'm telling you is you are your twin flame. You literally are them. Literally. Guys, you've got all the control. You've got all the power in the world to do something about this. You don't have to wait or wonder if it's going to happen. So here's twin flames in a nutshell, right? So this is your higher self in heaven, right? I call it the energy part of the universe, right? It's this higher plane of existence, P-L-A-N-E, plane. And modern physics has proven the existence of these higher planes. The Large Hadron Super Collider in Europe has discovered some of the lower planes, right? But higher planes, you know, there's lower planes, middle planes, higher planes, you know, it just goes up and up and up, right? And one of the very highest, I suppose, is what you could call the afterlife, right? So in physics, they've discovered the existence of the Higgs field, and then you've got the electron field, etc., etc. But what physicists are figuring out is it just keeps going higher and higher to higher dimensions, higher and higher and higher dimensions, right? So that's what this is, guys. Okay? Your soul is 99% consciousness. And I mean, that's a generalization. I don't know exactly how much it is, but if I had to make an educated guess, I would say it's pretty close to 100%. And then 1% information. And I'm even going to give you some resources in today's video where I can show you how I drew these conclusions, and some other videos talking about more in depth what twin flames are. Well, anyway, on these higher planes, here's the other interesting thing that physicists have figured out. There's no time, guys, on those higher dimensional planes, okay? So you and I seem to experience linear time, right? Yeah, but is that how it really works? No. Albert Einstein pointed out that past and future happen simultaneously. Right. So there's only one moment. There's only one moment. These higher planes, all of these different points in time are happening simultaneously from the perspective of your higher self. Okay, so this is one of your past lives, possibly a future life. I'll explain that in a second. But this is the year 1770. This is the year 1880. That's you and your twin flame. This is a future incarnation. Now, when you do the thing that we call die, you go up here to where there is no time. You can hop all around. You can reincarnate wherever you want. You can go back into the past and reincarnate, you guys. So a future point in time, right? Again, we seem to experience linear time down here in density. So that is a thing, because we live in density, we live in duality, right? But this could have been one of your previous incarnations, okay? And this is how, so I figured out that your twin flame is actually your past life, right? So this is the twin flame push-pull. Everybody knows about that. Everybody, you know, if you met your twin flame, you've heard about this. And this is why they're running. And this, again, I'm doing the setup, and we're going to talk about the signs, because this is what you got to shut down. You want to get your twin flame to start thinking about you? You got to get rid of this. Okay, we're going to talk about this. But I realized a long time ago, 6-7 years ago, when I very first started this, after I met my twin flame, that this push-pull exists. So I knew that it exists, but it wasn't until about 8 or 9 months ago that I figured out why. I've been trying to figure out why, and I finally figured it out. Your twin flame is your past life. So I'm not going to go too much more deeply into this in this video. I don't want this video to be just regurgitating stuff that I've done in other videos. I've got lots of videos about this stuff. But I do want to do, like I said, a little bit of setup. I'm going to give you some resources right now if you want to learn more about this. And just side note, these years down here, these birth years, are just examples. Okay, you could have been born actually after your twin flame. This could be the reverse. It could have been you in 1988 and them in 1975. You guys could have been born a year apart, 2 years apart. It doesn't matter, right? I just picked random years, okay? So these are just examples down here. But yeah, go check out my Twin Flame Science playlist. And so I even have, so I've got a video where I explain they're your past life. I've got a video where I really dig deep into the science of this stuff. I'm giving you totally a crash course right now. We're already at 9 minutes. And there's 5 kind of lengthy videos, not too bad. I think the longest one is like 40 minutes on my Twin Flame Science playlist. Go check that out. I even explained to you kind of what my theory is about what the soul is, and that's it seems to be congruent with what all of the ancient spiritual masters have said about the soul, and kind of how things like karma and dharma play into that. It seems to match what they've said about those things for so many years. And don't you think it's interesting how modern physics, which is what my theories are based on, modern physics matches what spiritual teachers have been saying for a long time about these higher energetic planes. So there's even one video in that Twin Flame Science playlist where I talk very deeply about what exactly is the soul and how you can tell what that is. And I'm not the only person, by the way. After I made that video, there were all kinds of people who contacted me and said, hey, Kurt, have you heard of this guy? Have you heard of this person? Have you? So it's obviously, I'm not the only one that came up with this stuff. It's really fascinating time to be alive, guys. We can prove a lot of this stuff with science. And it's, again, the stuff that physicists are learning in the laboratory, it aligns with the things that ancient spiritual masters have been saying for thousands of years, guys. Really fascinating stuff. So that's your crash course. So let's get back to this. Now, what this represents, this diagram here, this is at the mental level, the mental astral level. So let's talk about you for a second. So you are body, mind, soul, right? Body, mind, soul. Okay. So all we need to do is have an understanding of what those things are, right? So the body, pretty clear what that is. All right, the mind is thought, emotion, telepathy, metaphysical energy, chakras, and there's this energy cloud. Aura seers can see it, okay? It is literally like memories and emotions, okay? Literally, like when you remember something from your past, when you remember a past event, that's where that memory is stored. It's literally, think of it like Google Cloud storage, right? And then there's hard components in your body that are equal to like cookies on your computer. Like, you know how on your computer you have cookies? They're little tiny files called cookies. And cookies point the computer at the Google Cloud to go find the file from the Google Cloud. Well, you work exactly the same way. So there's even physical things on your body that are programmed to go retrieve memories from your ego, which is this cloud. It's this aura, okay? And so that's where memories and emotions are stored. So that's what you're seeing on your screen here. This is the ego mind, your memories and emotions. It's all in this cloud. And then there's your chakras. Chakras, I just made a video about that not that long ago that I will link down below for you about what chakras are, what my theories are on chakras. Again, it's based on real physics. I see the similarities between what science is saying about how some of these forces in our universe work and how this stuff works. And it's so obvious when you see, it's so obvious to me when you see it. So go check that out if you're interested, what chakras are. So that's the mind, thoughts, emotions, telepathy, metaphysical energy chakras, and of course the memory cloud that we call the ego mind. So basic functionality of the mind, it works on duality. Okay, so again, these similarities between science and spiritualism, where at the level of information, when it comes to science, information, everything is relative, everything is dualistic. In spiritualism, that's kind of where this yin-yang symbol came from. So if you think of the mind, it's good, bad. I like it, I don't like it. I feel good, I feel bad. So even emotion too, right? Light, dark, past, future, concept, past and future as a concept, right? So that's the mind. It works on duality. And even our world, our physical universe works on duality, right? So positive proton, negative electron, etc., etc. Albert Einstein called it relativity, and spiritual teachers, when we're dealing in spiritualism, they call it duality. Now, technically, duality is not spiritual, duality is mental, but that's how spiritual teachers show you what the soul is, who you really are beyond the mind. And so we're going to talk about that next. So on this part of the graph up here, so I have source and then singularity. So source, you could put the word soul or consciousness in here, okay? And, you know, science, singularity, that's a thing. That's the complete breakdown of relativity. So you think of duality or relativity as two, dual, duality, and then what's the opposite of that? Single, singularity, right? But we're all talking about the same thing, science, spiritualism, it's all the same thing. Interesting side note, even a psychologist, I had a psychologist once tell me, yeah, the mind is dualistic. And I was like, hey, that's what I tell people, right? So the mind works on duality, it's polarization, right? So that's where this push-pull comes in with your twin flame. All right, the mind is duality. So at the level of the mind, you and your twin flame are polarized. And I'm not talking about the content of your mind. I'm not talking about the story or the meaning. I'm not talking about good memories or bad memories. I'm talking mechanics. I'm talking like machinery, right? It's like this. It's the second law of thermodynamics. When you push, they pull away. The more that you think about them and pine for them, you're pining for them, you desire them, you're feeling this emotion and you're thinking about them, the harder you do that, the harder that they're not focused on you. The harder you focus on them, the harder they focus on anything but you. That's the twin flame push-pull, guys. You focus on them, they don't focus on you. And the more you focus on them, the less they focus on you. Okay, it's the second law of thermodynamics. Now, the reason how I figured out why, like I said, I knew that it was going on for a long time. And so when I figured out why it's going on, it doesn't really affect, you know, like my coaching program, my paid coaching, it doesn't change anything because it is still going on. But I figured out why it's going on. It's because you have lived, you know, several more incarnations since you were your twin flame. You literally used to be your twin flame. So you're watching, when you talk to your twin flame, you're watching a replay of stuff you've done in a past life. I mean, if you got into a time machine, if you knew who you used to be, never mind your twin flame. Let's just say that you got a past life regression and they told you, yeah, you used to be a handmaid for the Queen of England 200 years ago or whatever, right? And you get in a time machine and you go back and you meet that person, this handmaid who you used to be. Are you guys the same soul? You and the handmaid? Yeah, you are the same soul, right? Now, the more lifetimes you live, your consciousness expands and grows. Consciousness increases with each life lived. So that's why there's the polarization, okay? Because you've lived more lives, you have more consciousness. Consciousness grows with each life lived. So that's why this is going on, guys. It's not like the content of your mind or the story or any of that. It's not really psychology that matters. It's mechanics. It's function. It's machinery, okay? It's just this. It's just the second law of thermodynamics, okay? And yeah, that's Twin Flames 101. That's why they're not thinking about you right now. You're wondering if they're thinking about you. You're looking for signs that they're thinking about you. And you might think that they're thinking about you. You might believe that they're thinking about you, but they don't seem to be reciprocating, right? They're not really talking to you. They've got you in the friend zone. Maybe they've got you blocked, whatever it is. And So how would I know if they were thinking about me then, Kurt? That's what you still want to know, right? We've spent 20 minutes talking about why they're not thinking about you, right? Well, how would I know if they were thinking about you? Well, I'll tell you what, man. The most obvious thing is one of two things. They're going to fucking tell you. And I'm going to tell you why this is happening. If this ever happens, okay? Very important. Like I said, I'm going to tell you how you could actually get them to start thinking about you. So stick around. But they're just going to start talking to you. They're going to really want to fucking talk to you all of a sudden. It's like that. Like I've had that happen to me several times. This was in the beginning, like 7 years ago, where she would be rejecting me. I would pull away from her energetically and she would come right back in. And so I just started teaching that to my students and it kept working. It started working for them, dude. And now I've got students that are married to their twin flame. It's unbelievable. But that's what I did and it keeps working. So there's that. You might run into them, so they'll start talking to you, or you'll run into them around town. That happens a lot. Sometimes I have, like, some of my students, they'll just say fuck it and they'll block their twin flame to kind of like get them to take your mind off of them. You block them, right? I told you block your twin flame. I told my student that. And just get out of their energy for a while, right? And they said, okay. Well, then next thing you know, they feel detached from their person, like they've moved on, like they don't care about it. And they haven't even been thinking about their twin flame at all. They're just not even focused on it. That's when they run into them. So their twin flame maybe is trying to send them a text message, but can't because my student has their twin flame blocked. So the universe just says, fuck it. And then you run into them. I've had students run into their twin flame at an airport on the other side of the country. Like I had a student, this was a long time ago. This was 6 years ago. She lives in California. He was in Oregon. And they ran into an airport in Florida. They said, let's just hang out. They were like hung out for a week. It's remarkable. It's amazing. It's amazing. So what you're going to be experiencing, the signs, is you're not really going to be thinking about them, guys. That's the first one. There's another one. You're not really going to be focused on them. It's like they haven't even crossed your mind for a long time, right? Another sign is going to be this like knowing. Like you know that they're thinking about you, or you're going to see them soon, or you're going to hear from them soon. They're going to start talking to you again. And I don't mean understanding. Like, if I say 2 + 2 is what? How much is that? And you go, well, it's 4. And I go, how do you know that? Well, you go, well, I know that it's 4. I got 2 and I got 2 more, and that's 4. Right. But what we're talking about is understanding, concept. So in that conversation, when we say, how do you know it's 4? When we use the word know, knowing, what's really going on is concept, understanding, right? Mental. That's not what I'm talking about when I use the word knowing right here. What I'm talking about is this weird knowing. And your mind is like, how do you know that? Interesting. So let's stop right here. Because see, it's like deja vu. It's just like that, right? You feel this weird knowing that you've done this before. And your mind is telling you, how do you know that? Well, wait a minute. That's two things that are going on. There's the knowing, and there's the mind questioning the knowing. So the knowing isn't coming from the mind. What is it? Yeah, it's the soul, guys. It's your higher self. So here's another interesting thing. So kind of the same graphic as the earlier one, but now these are all different points in your current incarnation, in your current life, right? That's what these red dots represent, and then your higher self. So again, same thing. All of these points in time are happening simultaneously from the perspective of your higher self, because there is no time in this higher plane, you see. So when you're here at today and you get this knowing, which is not mental, it's not coming from the mind, because the mind is actually questioning the knowing. When that happens, they call it deja vu. It's because you have done this before. Your higher self is going, you're good. Thumbs up, right? Because your higher self, when you were back here 4 months ago, your higher self knew about this point in time already, you see. So you have this knowing that you're going to hear from them or that they're thinking about you. That's the most obvious sign. So you're not focused on them, you're not thinking about them, and you know that you're going to run into them, you're going to hear from them, or they're thinking about you. It's really 2 signs, you guys. That's really about it. Now, I told you I was going to tell you how you can get this to start happening. Yes, very simple, you guys. Very, very simple. You have to start by taking your focus off the person. I know that's hard. My paid coaching program, par excellence. Par excellence. I take you through a very thorough detox, and it's not expensive, guys. Super affordable, and I even have payment plans. But if you're on the fence, you're not sure, I don't know if I want to pony up for your coaching program, Kurt. I think I'm going to stick with your free content for right now. Totally fine. I pretty much just told you what you got to do. Take your focus off the person. Do something else, guys. Replace all of that activity, that twin flame activity that you were doing. Replace it with transcendentalism. Learn to meditate. Read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle and watch the Samadhi movie. I'll even link it down below for you. Part 1, Samadhi, Part 1. It's absolutely free on YouTube. You can start watching it right now. So take all your focus off the person and replace it with transcendentalism, experiencing yourself as the soul. You and your twin flame are the same soul. You got to do soul stuff. You got to get out of the mental craziness that you're doing with your twin flame and replace it with a lifestyle of Zen. That's how you get your twin flame to stop running from you guys. Real simple, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful and informative. I will see you guys again next week. Bye for now. See you later.